Hi, everyone. We're live. Can I make this full screen or no? I don't think so. Can you guys see me? I'm going to write a prompt like I did last time. Yeah, you can see me. Thank you, Paul. Hi, everyone. Let's say Happy New Year. Lenore, is it Lenore? Am I saying it right? Happy New Year from Arizona. Happy New Year to you too. Thanks for joining. Happy New Year. Let me know where you're joining from. Marielle from Connecticut. Okay, I'm gonna put my name in the pinned comment. Tamara! Hello, Tamara. Happy New Year. Thank you for joining, Tamara. Happy New Year. Let me know your name. Where you're joining from. Okay. So I did this last time with a pinned comment, or I pinned a comment asking everyone to say where they were joining from. And it was really fun because we had people from all over the world. We had Spain and Australia and also all over the US. Okay. Hi, Tamara. Tate, Happy New Year to you. Nydia, am I saying that right? Nydia from San Francisco, Happy New Year to you too. Tamara, yes, Tamara, I knew you're from Michigan, and I thought it was Detroit or the greater Detroit area. Chris G, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Happy New Year to you too from Buffalo. Okay. Fellow East Coaster. Tate from Brisbane. Oh, Tate, AKA Jackfruit Reporter, right? Or Jackfruit, was that it? So for those who saw the Tattooed Chef video, Tate was, yes, Jackfruit Reporter from Reddit. Tate was the source of a lot of my information from that video because he did a deep dive, posted it on Reddit, and then I used a lot of what he had found. Chantal, thank you for joining. Happy New Year from us living in Portugal. Love it. First international joiner, I think. Did everyone have a great New Year's Eve? And having a great year so far? I'm going to get something to drink. So, no surprise, I'm drinking my favorite drink of 2023, the Gus Soda, the cola flavor, my favorite flavor. Let's see if we can get a satisfying opening sound. Sort of, not really. These aren't super carbonated, which I don't mind because they're delicious. Paul said so far so good. Chantel, Tate is in Oz. Two of us. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm sorry, Tate. Two international so far. Tamara said New Year's Eve was somewhat boring except for the people shooting off guns at midnight. Pew pew pew. Oh God, we had an unofficial fireworks show at midnight near us. For a second, I was like, "Is this the town?" And then I was like, "Definitely not," because it didn't happen last year, and also I don't think the town would do a fireworks show at midnight. We were already in bed. So we had banging of a different kind. Maybe there were guns too. I don't know. Tate, thanks for the credit. So many YouTubers speak smack about Reddit, but at the same time steal half the content from their channel there. I love Reddit. I think it's my favorite social media platform aside from YouTube, of course. It just feels so pure and like, I don't know, just undistracted, like just text. And I had never checked out the vegan subreddit until this year, but I really like it. And I'm always finding interesting things on there. So as you guys know, he said, yes, it's like old internet. It really feels that way. I appreciate that they haven't changed anything it doesn't change often, as opposed to, you know, Instagram, which changes like every 3 hours, it feels like. Reddit is great for vegan stuff, Tamara says. Lots of helpful people giving advice. So much. There's not only the vegan subreddit, which I think has 1.5 million members, but then there's also the vegan recipes subreddit, which has amazing recipes. If you're ever looking for recipe inspo, I actually was in there, just getting myself some water too. I was in there looking up recipes for holiday inspo. Carrie, lurking at work, yay. So Carrie is joining from Australia, and Carrie was on the test run on Friday and thought she wasn't going to be able to join because it's actually Tuesday in Australia. It's January 2nd already, and she has to work, but glad you are lurking at work, Carrie. Paul said chance one of them ran through the frame at one point. I closed the basement door so that they wouldn't be incentivized to go down there. Carrie said, great memory. Yeah, you were joining from the furthest away. Oh, it's buffering? Uh-oh. Is it buffering for everyone? Mm-hmm. How's the connection for you guys? I told Paul to jump off. He said it's buffering. Huh. Is it back now? Seems better now. Frame drops. Technical difficulties. Yes, this didn't happen on Friday. Sounds like a meme where the cat is typing. Oh no, that doesn't sound good. It stopped. Play of all. Okay, just let me know, guys, if that happens again. Our internet is sketchy, but we didn't have any issues on Friday. So if Paul needs to jump off, he said it's better now. Okay. All right, good. So some of you may know, if you don't know, I'm going to be making a crispy rice salad, which is technically this dish originated in Laos. So it's a Laotian dish, but I first had it in a Thai restaurant in LA called Bulan. It's a vegetarian Thai restaurant. And I used to go to this restaurant all the time when I lived there, but I never got this particular dish until one of the last few times I went. And I was with someone else and they were like, we should try this. And I never would have, I don't know, I just never would have ordered it, but it is so delicious. So I always thought of it as a Thai dish, but it originated in Vientiane, Laos, which is right on the border of Thailand. So what I've learned is there's a lot of crossover dishes between Laos and Thailand because they border each other. And still not good for Lenore. How is it for everyone else? I'm just texting Paul to see what his deal is. New Year, same internet problems. Still good for Chris. Okay. Okay, in California. Good. Okay, so yeah, basically I had this dish a few times before I left LA. And then I was really sad because I have never seen another Thai restaurant that had this dish. And then I went back to LA in 2019 for work and I got it again. And then I was like, I need to figure out how to recreate this. So I was looking at what it says on the menu at Bulan Thai. It says crispy brown rice mixed with fried tofu, ginger, rice powder, onion, carrot, and peanuts with spicy lime dressing. So that was kind of all I had to go off of. And I've never used rice powder in cooking. I still haven't. Like, I'm not going to be using it today, but I don't know what that does. Like, is that a flavor enhancer? Is it for texture? Hope it's not a sign from the universe. Oh no, Lenore, I hope it gets better. Cinnamon is here. Happy New Year. Cinnamon was really livening the chat up on Friday, and it was great to have him there. So I'm glad that Cinnamon is back, joining from Massachusetts. Tamara, one of the most delicious things I ever ate was a Laotian version of Buddha's garden curry. Such interesting use of fragrant herbs. Exactly. It's interesting that Thai cuisine is so prevalent in the US, but we never really hear much about Laotian cuisine, or I think sometimes they're combined in the same restaurant. Vegans in Arizona, we always get short shrift. Do you not have great vegan restaurants near where you live? It seemed like from the chat on Friday, it just depended if people lived near a city or not, unfortunately. Zach, Happy New Year, Zach. Welcome to the chat. Rice powder doesn't mean rice flour. That's kind of what I thought, but why would that be in the crispy rice salad? Adrian is here, ADO head. Happy New Year from the UK. Okay, you're in the UK. I don't think I knew that from last time. Awesome, guys. We've got an international chat. So anyway, basically, it's taken me a few years to figure out how to make this well. And I did mention in the recipe that I shared that I would be doing the crispy rice, making the crispy rice ahead of time and making the tofu ahead of time, because the crispy rice, like deep frying it, it can be a little bit messy. It can sometimes set off the smoke detectors. So I wanted to not have to fuss with that during the stream, but basically I did it in this pan, in the Always pan, and I used sesame oil, quite a lot of sesame oil. I made the rice yesterday, so that's the key. You should use leftover rice because it's just dried out enough. And then heat up the sesame oil. I didn't do a temperature check. I just would drop a few grains in, when they would sizzle. The oil, I assumed, was ready. And then just dropped it in small-ish batches. And then I use, let me grab it, an oil skimmer. This is so helpful. I have made this before without an oil skimmer and just used a slotted spoon. This makes a huge difference because, as you can see, it's like very fine mesh. So it gets up the grains of rice really well. And then, yeah, just did small batches. It took a little while, but let me show you guys how. It's very crispy. And then when I take it out, I lay it on paper towels. I try to use rags and stuff when I cook or when I clean as opposed to paper towels, but this is something you really kind of want to use paper towels for to soak up the grease. And I do compost them. And so yeah, here is the crispy rice. So that part is done. I'm going to catch up. So on Friday, I was just really glued to the chat, and today I'm going to try to do more stretches of cooking and then catch up on the chat. The tofu, I just cubed it. I mixed it with some sesame oil, salt, did it in the air fryer, 370 until it was crispy. I tried to do it a little less crispy than I usually do today because this salad ends up getting it ends up being really crunchy and chewy, which I like, but it does end up being a little bit where you're like, wow, this is kind of hard to eat. But I think I ended up making the tofu pretty crispy regardless. So I'm going to make my dressing first. Let me catch up on chat real quick. Happy New Year. Let's see. Cinnamon says a lot of Thai dishes have fish sauce in them. What is a good vegan substitute? Maybe someone answered that. They do sell vegan fish sauces. There was a YouTube channel, I forget what it's called, but she had a substitute where you basically buy these dried mushrooms at the Thai store. You could probably buy them other places too, but you soak them in water and let them rehydrate. And then the water ends up having a bit of a fish sauce quality. Personally, I hate the taste of fishy anything. So for me, just doing it without fish sauce is my preference. But they do sell vegan fish sauces. I've seen it before. And you can also make your own, but I can't really speak to that. Michelle, hi from Southern California. Hi, Michelle. Happy New Year. Buffalo is mediocre for vegan restaurants, Chris said. Where was I a few years ago? I think I was in Rochester, and I didn't explore that much, but it was decent. That's nice Dutch oven pan. Are you talking about this one on the shelf behind the plant or the Always pan? I didn't know you lived in California. You're talking to me, Zach? I don't live in California. I used to. I've got a veggie burrito from Del Taco. Awesome. Greetings again from Northern California. Cinnamon, is the pan nonstick? Good question. It should be, but it's not, is the long story short. Paul said he loves this dish. Let's see. Oh yeah, Tamara, you had to answer the question about fish sauce. Get producer Paul to pay attention to the chat, then you could focus on the cooking part. We did talk about making Paul moderator, but I didn't want to fuss with that because I haven't done it before. When I Google Laotian rice powder, it comes up something called khao kwa, which is toasted rice powder originating in Thailand. That's what I was thinking, that if it was toasted, it would have a nice toasty flavor. Carrie said seaweed. That's a good idea. The Always pan looks like a Dutch oven. It does kind of, but it's weird because Our Place, the company who makes the Always pan, they also make a Dutch oven now. Hi from Netherlands. Happy 2024. Hi, Generally. Thanks for joining from the Netherlands. Yet another international joiner. Okay, I'm making the dressing now. So starting off with a lime, and I'm just rolling it out to try to release the juices as much as possible. I got myself a squeezer at Whole Foods the other day. I've been wanting one of these for so long, and I don't know why I didn't get one sooner, but I think that'll make this a lot easier because I'm basically using the juice of a whole lime, maybe two actually. Okay. Let's see. So I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to put it in upside down, is from what I know. Oh my God, that is so satisfying. Why didn't I get one of these sooner? It worked so well. Tate says he loves that citrus juicer. So far, so do I. Anyone a little hungover from last night? Personally, no, but I didn't sleep great last night, so I am a little tired. Chris, thanks for the gift. Or is that from earlier? Anyway, thank you. Thank you anyway. Put the lime in the coconut and shake it all up. Great idea. Great idea, Adrian. Tamara, I still use one of those wooden reamers. Citrus juice. It's like the Victorian era. Such an old lady. Is that the one that has the thing that sticks up and you kind of like that? That just seems like too much work. But then again, squeezing it manually is as well. Oh my God, that is so satisfying. I hope I'm using a big enough bowl for this. Cinnamon, I'm on the wrong side of 40. Started not drink and went to sleep at 11. Okay. So we're just going to go with the one lime for now. We'll do another one if I feel like we need it. Next, shallot. This just gives such a nice flavor. And I'm also doing for the dressing. The dressing has a lot of ingredients, but you don't need that many ingredients. I'd say the lime and ginger are the most important part. Also, the lemongrass would be like hugely recommended. But yeah, you can use as many or as little ingredients as you want. You'll see I put kind of a lot of ingredients in here because I like all the different flavors. It's ridiculous, Tamara, your old school juicer. Why don't limes have seeds like lemons? That's a really good question that I don't know the answer to. Currently recovering from a food coma. Chris, what did you eat that put you in a food coma? last night, Paul and I did a vegan cheese fondue, which has kind of become our little New Year's Eve tradition, kind of stolen from my parents who tend to do that every year, but with real cheese fondue. But the recipe is from Miyoko's Artisan Vegan Cheese Cookbook. And it's a great recipe, but it is very filling. It's very rich. So I'm using a mandolin to cut the shallot just on the first setting. I didn't start using this for this purpose until recently, but it's great. I'll try to do it high so you guys can see. For those of you who have mandolin anxiety, I apologize. I'll try not to slice my fingers to make that worse. Actually, I don't want to do it straight into the dressing. I want to do it on the thing and then... Actually, what I normally do, this is what I normally do. I normally slice it in half first and then hold it together and do this so that it comes out already sliced in half. I probably should not look at the chat while I'm doing this. Next thing you know, got a little skin in the dressing. So I'm doing a whole shallot. It's kind of like a medium-sized shallot. I feel like I was sleeping on shallots until the last couple years, maybe. They're so good. Okay. The good thing is I have long-ish nails, so that gives me the warning when I'm getting too close, but I just went pretty close there. All right. I like adding the shallot early because I don't know if this is actually true, but I feel like the citrus, the acidity of the limes helps break it down a little bit, so it's not so much like raw shallot vibe. Feels wait, why don't limes taste like lemons? I feel like this is a joke. Huh? It sounds like a joke setup, but it was intended as serious. Because those dark green limes are actually underripe. Ripe limes are a lighter green-yellow color. Interesting. I made a breakfast sandwich Wellington. Can you elaborate on that, Chris? And we had waffles. Tamara says, fondue, how I miss it. Thanks for telling us you got the recipe. Yep, it's a really good recipe. It's pretty simple, though. I think there's other fondue recipes out there. We had tater tots with homemade queso and samosas. That sounds delicious. I sliced a finger pretty bad on my mandolin. Ooh, making onion soup. Be careful. Ooh, something about that is like so icky. Like that, like that's almost worse than getting cut with a knife. Just the slice of the fingertip. Terrible. I intended to make a few hot and cold appetizers, but guests fell through. So I ended up making vegan sardine paste. Is that how I'm saying? Oh, paste. Oh my God, Marielle. I was thinking it was like, never mind. An old family recipe and pimento cheese canapes. Boring. That does not sound boring, Tamara. Tamara is a trained chef. So I think boring for Tamara is probably very exciting for the rest of us. I'm going to do the ginger next. So I went to the Thai store to get a lot of these ingredients because basically I could have gotten all the ingredients at Whole Foods or at a different store, but I wanted to specifically get at the Thai store the big bunch of lemongrass stalks, whereas at like Whole Foods, they'll just have a pack of like 2 little ones. And I also wanted to get the Thai long beans, which are the long, skinny Thai green beans. I've never seen this particular store not have them, and they didn't have them this time. So I just ended up getting green beans, regular green beans, which is fine, but didn't get the Thai long beans. Oh, but I did. The Thai store always has really great produce and very inexpensive, I think. So I got this huge package of ginger. It was like $2. So I'm going to do the ginger now. Just rinsing it off. And then going to peel off. My computer is on our compost bin, so I'm putting my compost scraps in here for now. Where did you score vegan pimento cheese? That's a good question. I was I think she made it though. Lemongrass $4 per stem here? No way. That's crazy. In Australia? Well, I'm guessing things are probably more expensive in general in Australia, right? Because a lot of stuff gets imported from far away. Just egg, vegan bacon, sausage, and cheddar cheese wrapped in puff pastry. That sounds insane. The best cheddar shreds I've used yet, by the way, Daiya oat cream cheddar shreds. I know it's pronounced Daiya, but I just prefer saying Daiya. Those must be new. I gotta hand it to Daiya. They are just chugging along. They said, we know we were the punchline of all the vegan cheese jokes, but we're sticking it out. We're improving. And they have improved over the years, I think. Tamara says she made her own with store-bought roasted red pepper and Miyoko's Roadhouse cheddar. That sounds so good. I never knew that's what pimento cheese was, but that makes sense. Chris, you put me to shame, dude. They're a new blend. Yes, I have not seen those yet. So I'm using a grater to grate some ginger in. I think this is enough, but we'll see. It's like maybe like an inch of the ginger root. Like I said, ginger and lime are the main two components here that I think are really the star of the show. Wish we had that oat cheese over here. Yeah, like I said, I haven't even seen it yet. That's a pretty big shift for Daiya because they've made their cheeses the same, it seems like, for so long, even though they came out with the, I don't know, the cutting board shreds or whatever. Let me get okay. So it's pretty thick at this point. It's mostly just shallots, ginger, lime. I might do a little more ginger. I just don't really feel like peeling more. Let me just do a little more. Paul said, I'm getting YouTube Live 3D because I can see and smell it. He's probably smelling the ginger. Cinnamon pro tip, freeze ginger root before you shred it. Easier to do. Oh, good to know. I've grated ginger before and then frozen it in ice cube trays. And that was a great thing to do. And then you can, the one I was using on the stream on Friday, which was the those frozen cubes you could buy. I just don't find those to be potent enough. Okay, I can't wait to read. I'll catch up with the chats. I'll do that after I am done grating. Okay, that's a lot of ginger, but we love ginger. I actually did not used to like ginger. It's something that grew on me like in my 20s, I think. Used to hate ginger. All right. Got our ginger in. So the rest of what's going in the dressing now are basically just liquids. So I'm going to do rice vinegar, which again, it's like, do you need rice vinegar and lime juice? I like it, but probably don't need it. Mirin, which I love. It's a Japanese sake wine, basically, but they say in here non-alcoholic. So this is a non-alcoholic version, but it's like a sweet Japanese sake wine, from what I understand. Tamari, so you could do tamari or soy sauce, and then sometimes I'll do maple syrup if I want a little bit sweeter. But and then the lemongrass. Let me do that first, actually. JK. I knew I was missing something. Happy New Year to all. Got to go walk the doggo. Thank you so much, Chris, for joining. If you're still here, Happy New Year to you. Definitely an invigorating aromatherapy moment between the ginger and the lime. Exactly. That's what this dish is. That's why I love Thai food, because it's basically I don't know. It's just so much going on in terms of the flavors. So I just cut off the top and bottom of my lemongrass. Sometimes I'll peel. I don't know if you're supposed to like peel off the outside layer. I don't really know. Talk about aromatherapy. Now it's really kicking up a notch. So lemongrass is very tough to cut through, but that's what we have to do. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know if I'm supposed to eat this like very bottom part, but Ivar or Ivar, the best new cheese is from Good Planet. It melts quick and made with olive oil instead of coconut, so only 1 gram of saturated fat, game changing. That's cool. I have seen Good Planet. I think I've tried the slices before. What I've been seeing in the stores are their cubes, like the container of cubes, and I'm very curious about it, but haven't quite decided to try it yet, but good to know. Good to have the recommendation. Tamara says blessed Daya, but I think it's a losing battle against their signature melted white Crayola crayon flavor. You either love it or hate it. See, I associate them mostly with the cheddar because I feel like that's what I would get from them the most. I swear Daya was better when it first came out. The formula is plasticky now. That's what Paul said. I sort of wonder if, because I feel the same way, but I'm like, did my expectations just increase for vegan cheeses, or did the diet cheese actually get worse? So basically I cut this in half, cut the other half in half, cut it in half again, and now I'm just chopping. Oh my God. Get ready for more aromas, Paul. Lemongrass might be one of my favorite ingredients of all time. Again, another thing that I didn't really discover or start really buying and working with until a few years ago. There's nothing like it. Congrats for keeping all your fingertips. Thank you. It's a struggle. Ivar, too lazy to grate. I buy ginger juice from the ginger people. I've never tried that before. It's nice to have on hand for migraines too. I would actually, yeah, I think that's a good idea as well. Having ginger juice. But we've also made ginger juice before with our juicer. Kind of a lot of work though. Let's see. I basically use all of the lemongrass, like at the top, the parts where it gets kind of harder, it gets a little stringier. I don't know, I use all of it. That's quite a lot. And I think that might be all I use for now. What I've started doing with the lemongrass, because obviously you get so much of it, and it does keep for a good amount of time in the fridge, but I've started just chopping up whatever I don't use, whatever stocks I have left over, and then freezing them I'll just do it in one container. And that way I can just grab some whenever I need it. And sometimes I do that and add that to the soup that I made on Friday, the sad soup, which by the way, I was like, I hope no one thinks that that's like me being like, guys, this is this amazing recipe I make, because that was a struggle meal. That was one of my struggle meals. So that was not about me being like, wow, this recipe is so groundbreaking. It was just like a quick lazy meal. I'm going to try getting all my lemongrass in my hand without spilling a bunch. So yeah, I'm doing like this much. It's probably like 2 tablespoons chopped. I don't think anyone is making this along with me, but just in case. Hopefully, sounds good. Hopefully 2024 will be the year of decent and healthy vegan cheese. I agree. I do miss living near a South Asian grocery. It's so hard to find certain herbs and roots and things here, even though Whole Foods tries to source some of these things. Yeah, I agree. Like I said, Whole Foods usually has lemongrass. They'll usually have a small Asian section where they'll have some stuff. But for like one ingredient that I never find anywhere except for the Thai store is Thai basil. And it's so amazing. And you can use it in so many different things. And I don't get why Whole Foods doesn't have Thai basil. Good Planet's mozzarella shreds are good. The spicy Monterey Jack cubes are real solid. I would say their cheddar is just okay though. Good to know. I'm going to be bookmarking that for later. So everyone was sharing what they had for New Year's Eve. I'm curious what everyone did, what food everyone had for Christmas, because I feel like that's always a struggle, figuring out what to have. We went to my family's house who are not vegan, and they do a turkey every year. But my mom was like, why don't you bring a few things and everyone can try that? Like, she tries to be accommodating in that way. But we ended up making Minimalist Baker's vegan meatball recipe. Is so good. It's called the Best Vegan Meatballs. She has a couple different recipes, but it's an amazing recipe. And I know some people have mixed feelings about Minimalist Baker because she's, no longer a fully vegan recipe creator, but that recipe is incredible. So we did that. We did meatballs just with like marinara sauce. I'm going to start adding my other liquid ingredients. And then I tried a new recipe, which was Isa Chandra Moskowitz's. So she's a longtime popular vegan chef, and she owns Modern Love in Brooklyn. She had a Caesar salad recipe that I found on just a YouTube video, a series she did with Breville from a few years ago. So we did that. It was pretty good. It was a Caesar salad. It had quinoa in it, and then it had herb crusted tofu. It came out okay, not amazing. It wasn't my favorite vegan Caesar I've had, but it was really healthy. And then Paul's mom had ordered us a huge cheese plate from Riverdale in New York. So we had that, and that was really good. And yeah, that's what we did for Christmas. And Christmas Eve, I made a tempeh piccata, which originally the recipe came from Chloe Coscarelli's Chloe's Kitchen. So one of her earlier cookbooks. Great recipe. But I saw someone, I don't know if it was in the vegan recipes subreddit, somewhere on Reddit, someone said that they always feel this weird amount of pressure of the foods that they bring to family holidays because they feel like everyone is judging, like whatever they bring is like representing veganism as a whole and has to be like the most convincingly good vegan dish ever. And I definitely relate to that. Like, God forbid one of my recipes doesn't come out great on Christmas Day, and then people are like, see, I knew I didn't like vegan food or something like that. But everything came out pretty well. My non-vegan family tried some of the stuff, and they seemed to like it. So my mom also made twice baked potatoes, which are really good. She made them vegan. Let's see. I'll catch up now. Tamara said yes, Thai basil, also curry leaves and lime leaves, exactly. Kaffir lime leaves specifically or something I discovered only, I can only find them at the Thai store. Christmas, I sat outside in silent protest with the carcasses on my table. That's amazing, Carrie. Good for you. It is so traumatizing to be at family holidays. Like, I literally disassociate. Like, I don't look, thankfully my family doesn't put carcass on the table, but it's still really tough. Tate said struggle meals are the best, though the literal worst is a 50-step 2-day $300 recipe for whatever. True. New Year, went to bed in disappointment at the world. Relatable. The real tattooed chef. Exactly. As I mentioned in my video, that's what I thought of when I thought of tattooed chef. I was like, oh, sounds like Isa Chandra Moskowitz. Meatballs sound like a good idea because, to be honest, don't come for me. All the roasts are subpar. I'm not going to come for you because I agree. I agree. I have yet to try one of the roasts that I've really liked. I do like, and this is going to sound weird, so this is tasting really good so far. I might have to need a little more sweetness, I think. So I don't know if you guys know the company Vegetarian Plus. They make that ultra realistic looking whole turkey that's vegan. That's kind of creepy looking, but I tried their someone a few years ago. We did this vegan Friendsgiving with some of our Massachusetts vegan friends, and a couple of years ago, someone had a smaller version of that roast, and I really liked the texture of that. It kind of was like a meiwa, like that really nice mock meat texture where it's seitan, but it's not like super real. It's not super realistic, but it's just that perfect in between. But in general, I agree on the roasts. Tamara said, Carrie, I have great respect for people who can sit at a table with an animal centerpiece like Mariel and Paul. I can't do it anymore and alienate people probably. It's always a struggle every year deciding what to do. We did our own thing for Thanksgiving this year. I actually made this because Thanksgiving, I don't know, there's just something so horrifying about it on multiple levels. I bought my first vegan cookbook from Issa over 10 years ago. There was a great black bean taco recipe in there. Where is it? Is it this one? Zach? My sister-in-law got this for me, I think probably about 10 years ago. And I don't think I've ever actually cooked from it, but like I like having it. I don't use cookbooks that often, but people tend to buy them for me because it's like a good idea to buy for someone, but I don't really use them that often. Ivar said, oh, that's gutsy. People don't tend to like tempeh. Was that a hit? I don't know if that's directed at me. I don't think I did any tempeh for Christmas. We have to bring the best. We do have to bring the best stuff. Exactly. Paul said, as a lifelong vegetarian, I developed carcass coping skills very early on. That is absolutely true. I think that was something that was very difficult for Paul for his whole life. Really, there's a lot of pressure. The bar is so much higher for us. Yep. Exactly. By the way, I celebrate my vegan anniversary on January 1st. Been vegan for 14 years now. Zach, that's amazing. It makes me want to cry for you because it's so interesting when people have specific day vegan anniversaries because I don't associate mine with a specific day for some reason. I don't remember like, oh, there was a snap moment and it was on this day, but I think that's so cool. I'm curious how, like, was it a Veganuary thing? Was Veganuary even around back then? Happy vegan anniversary. Zach said it was a different book. Okay, look at the title. Carrie, I stopped caring if I alienate people. The animals are alienated. Totally get that. Retro gaming lore. Welcome to the chat. I'm surprised that there's no video game equipment in the background. I was expecting to at least see Paul's foosball table. That's good. Good knowledge there, retro gaming lore. If we were in Paul's office right now, you would be so excited because it's all retro video game consoles and games themselves. For those who don't know, my boyfriend Paul is an avid gamer, lifelong fan of video games, and he's also a video game designer. That's what he does. That's his career. Carcass coping. I know it's a good alliteration, but it's not a great thought. So let's see how we're doing now. It definitely needs more sweetness. I can't remember if I added more mirin the last time I said that, but it definitely needs more. And then I might do some maple syrup too. We shall see. What do you think of Mr. Marble's steak and ribs to take, but would be expensive? Are you talking about Juicy Marbles, the company? Has anyone tried Juicy Marbles? I'm so intrigued by them. People have asked me about them before. I'm going to do a little maple syrup. No cat sightings yet. Very disappointing. Very disappointed in our girls. If I get desperate enough, I will go find one of them and bring them in. But you know, it's daytime and this is their sleepy time, so can't be too upset. Yes, juicy marbles. Zach said he decided to go vegan in December 2009. I slipped at one point and ate some chocolate with milk in it, but that was the last slip up. So Jan 1st is a convenient date. Totally fair. I first went vegan in 2007, I want to say, when I read the book Skinny Bitch, which if you're a longtime subscriber, you may remember that. And then did 3 years and then went back to being vegetarian and then went back to being vegan. And so yeah, it definitely was not a linear journey for me. Tamara said, haven't tried juicy marbles or even meaty. Meaty is another one that I'm curious about, but since it is mushroom based, I'm a little skeptical of that one. Have you tried Atlas Monroe fried chicken? I haven't, and I have wanted to. I'm curious if anyone else has tried that. So when it gets to this point where basically it tastes really good, but I do want a little more volume because I like to make a lot of this. I'm gonna add a little bit of water just to give it more volume, but obviously we'll adjust the flavors if needed because I don't want to water it down. I also sometimes will do kaffir lime leaves in here chopped up. I don't know that it adds like a ton of flavor, but I really like the taste and just like smell the aroma of kaffir lime leaves. Paul said, Richard gave me lure. I don't have a foosball table, but I do have an old pachinko machine from the 70s in my office. It's true, can confirm. It still needs more sweetness. More mirin. Maybe because I use the juicer, I got more lime juice than I usually do. Come on, maple syrup. Getting to the bottom of my bottle here. I think we're good for now. This is the type of thing that every time I make it, I'm like, oh, we should have made more because we just want so much of it on our salads. I feel like, by the way, this barely qualifies as a salad. It has literally deep fried rice in it. But hey, it's a salad. Why not? Who says salads have to be healthy? And this one is pretty healthy, all things considered. The Isa Chandra Moskowitz book was Appetite for Reduction. I think I've heard of that one. I think that's good. I think we're good there. Let's see. So what else I put in the salad other than the crispy rice, other than the dressing? I will do green beans. Like I said, normally Thai long beans, not today. I will do, and I thought I had better quality carrots, but we're down to our last 2 sad carrots. I will do thinly shaved carrots. Red onion, I don't always do this. I don't love raw onion, but in this salad, it just really works with the acidity and like the, I don't know, greasiness of the rice. And then also grape tomatoes that I slice up. So I'm going to cut up my green beans. What I'll do is I will blanch these. So I'm not really steaming them because I like them to kind of be mostly raw, but a little bit cooked. So I will cut them up, put them in a strainer, and then pour boiling hot water on them like twice. And I don't do a cold part of that. So it's not probably technically blanching, but that's what I do. Live in Canada, the entirety of Canadian cuisine consists of pancakes and maple syrup. Nothing else is worth buying or cooking here. Not sure if that's an exaggeration, but that's pretty funny. Tate, this is the kind of salad you could actually make friends with. Exactly. It's funny. I've been called out before. I did a video, a reel about Curbside Comforts, the place in Maine that I love so much that sadly just announced they're closing. I did a reel, and in the reel I was like, vegans don't just eat salads and fries, and like Curbside Comforts is the proof of that, or something like that. And then literally in the video I got a salad and fries, but it was, this amazing, it was like a chicken bacon ranch salad, and there were like cheese fries with jalapenos. So, but someone was like, you realized you got a salad and fries after you said that. I'm like, salads, not all salads are created equal. This is no, sad side salad with balsamic. So I cut the green beans up like maybe that small. Zach, an oldie but a goodie. I just go to her food blog for recipes nowadays. That's what I mostly do. I mostly get recipes online, like I said. Sometimes Minimalist Baker, sometimes Cookie and Kate, sometimes Nora Cooks. I prefer doing that and then printing them out. I love that GNR reference. Thank you. It's really troubling how many vegan restaurants are going under in larger metropolitan. I know, Tara. So we were talking about this in the chat on Friday, that there's been like, honestly, I want to say around 5 vegan restaurants that have closed in Connecticut in the last year and a half, and more that, may be closing. And it's hard to know if that's a sign of the economy or demand for vegan food in general. I think it's more of an economy thing. Like, people just aren't going out to eat as much. But then there's all these Chick-fil-A's opening, and I'll see these headlines like, line around the block for Chick-fil-A to open, like people waiting in line for hours. So I don't know, pretty disheartening. Rabbit food if you want to get reported for animal cruelty. I'm not sure what that's in response to, but yes, typical, I would say the typical boring salad that gets offered to us a lot of times is comparable to rabbit food. But hey, why is everyone so hard on rabbit food? Rabbit food is very healthy. Tara said it's particularly troubling because in other countries with a vegan population, this is not as drastic a trend, or not a trend at all. Yeah, I mean, like I said, in my London vlogs, I was blown away by how vegan friendly London was compared to here. It just wasn't even like, it wasn't even a thing. It was just like, yeah, vegan options, like no problem. I was on this riverboat. It's called the Uber boat. It's just like a commuter boat that goes down the river, and they had a food stand area, or like a concession area. And they had vegan options on the menu, clearly marked, at like a concession stand on just like a commuter boat, which I know, at least near where I live, you would never see something like that. What is the vegan scene like in Detroit, Tamara? Are there good restaurants there? I've never been to Detroit. I think I've got enough beans, pretty much. Even Moby's vegan restaurant in LA went bankrupt and shut down. The vegan fight is over, veganism remains. Huh. That is very surprising to me. I actually lived right down the street from that restaurant in LA. I remember when it opened, I was really excited. I went there a lot. Paul and I went there. In Amsterdam, a lot of vegan places closed last year, but some opened too. I think it's the options in the supermarket too. That's interesting. A lot of places closed last year. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In the last like 2022, 2023 seems to have been happening more. Tamara said there's no comparing the UK to us. I've realized it watching vegan channels. Yeah, also in the I'm going to get some water boiling. In the grocery stores where we were staying in London, we weren't it was only smaller. There were no big supermarkets because we were like very much in the middle of the city. So there were smaller versions of the big supermarkets. There's like a Tesco local and things like that, or Sainsbury local, things like that. And my mom was pissed because they barely had any cheese selections and they didn't have eggs at all. And my mom was like, "This is ridiculous." And I was just like, I was like silently snickering because I was like, "Good, we're not in a animal ag run country anymore, honey." Depends where you are in the UK. Yes, that is definitely, I shouldn't be comparing London to, rural UK, for example. A couple of our fully vegan places went under in the last 2 years, despite being profitable, which I don't understand. Same. That is always very confusing. Most non-vegan fine dining places tend to have, or most non-fine dining places try to have a few vegan options in the menu, though. Yeah. Girlfriend is from Detroit. I've been back and forth for that reason. It's the same story. Detroit equals the home of Kiri Yorovsky, but the movement is dead there. Yeah, like I said, I've never been to Detroit. Don't understand the scene, but Tamara is my Tamara's my eyes and ears on the ground, I guess, in Detroit. What was I gonna say? Yeah, that's been this similar situation, Tamara, with some places near us where it seems like they're doing really well, but then for some reason they close. Sometimes maybe it's a landlord issue. So yeah, very confusing. Let me see. I'm gonna do my carrots now. So basically, I'm just gonna peel the outside layer off and then make ribbons. Cut them into ribbons. Something online. Let's maybe on the answer videos from 2017. Burden Joe Vegan Fiasco. All right. Just cutting off top and bottom of my carrots. Let's see. Sorry, side conversation. No worries. I love it. But yeah, I don't know if I heard what people had for Christmas or for the holidays. If you did have any foods or meals that wowed your non-vegan family, let us know. My family is always, everyone that I've made this for is always blown away by shiitake bacon. And for those who haven't tried it, if you don't like mushrooms, I hate mushrooms, and it is so good. It actually tastes like bacon. They're so crunchy. They're so easy to make. And so we had some shiitake bacon at Christmas, and like everybody was like, "I can't believe this. This is so good." People asking me for the recipe, even though it's basically just olive oil and salt and baking it. I don't think that's a fair estimation of what's happening in Detroit. There's a greater trend of minority-owned vegan pop-ups happening and small vegan culinary training programs for young people. That's really cool. That's encouraging to hear that. Hate mushrooms, unsubscribe. The vegan cardinal sin. People really don't like that I don't like mushrooms. I think as a vegan, you're expected to like mushrooms. Mostly like non-vegan people in my life, like, what? You don't like mushrooms? Because I guess it's kind of the expected meat substitute. But I just hate the texture and don't like the taste either. But if it's made into a crunchy, delicious thing like shiitake bacon, I don't mind it. Carrie said Jamie Logan is awesome, just saying. I actually don't know who that is, but I will look into it. Paul said, I don't like mushrooms. Neither of us like mushrooms, thankfully. So it's not like one of us likes it and one of us doesn't. Both my parents also like mushrooms, which is interesting. And me and my brother both hate mushrooms. I don't think they really made them for us growing up, though. So maybe that's why. Well, mushrooms aren't plant-based. They're fungi. Good point. I mean, I don't really understand. I am kind of like fascinated by mushrooms, and I respect mushrooms, but I have developed a taste for a lot of things over the years. Like I said, ginger and fennel is something else I really didn't like and developed a taste. Even cilantro, I didn't like, developed a taste. I don't know if it's ever going to happen for mushrooms. Steven said, I had tomato soup and toasted cheese for Christmas. My family, not much for vegan food, so they had steak. Ugh. Also, mushrooms are great. Haha. Toasted cheese. Is that like a grilled cheese or like an open-faced, just cheese melted on bread? Christmas dinner, Sainsbury's fake turkey. Okay, because you're in the UK, right? Turkey joint. Fake turkey joint with stuffing. It was okay. Roast potatoes, vegetables, gravy, a couple of glasses of Kylie Minogue Prosecco. Ooh, I didn't know Kylie Minogue had a Prosecco. That sounds very festive and exciting. I'm just going to put so I made the carrot ribbons and then I just like chopped them up a little bit so they're not too long. Yeah, see, I have really come to not like, obviously I don't like the traditional holiday meal of like turkey and stuffing and potatoes, but even the veganized version, I used to like that. I used to like, veganized mashed potatoes and stuffing and gravy. But now I just find it all so bland and boring. So that's why, like for Thanksgiving, we did Thai food. And then for Christmas, I did meatballs and Caesar salad and was very happy with that. Our family always has beef. I've made a vegan beef roast in the past. It freaked me out. So now I make one of the puff pastry plates from those vegan guys' channel. That sounds cool. Grilled cheese sandwich, Steven said. Okay. I am always kind of curious to try those vegan beef Wellingtons, or I guess like beet Wellingtons that some people make. It seems like a lot of work, but it seems like a very impressive centerpiece if you pull it off. So my water is done boiling. I'm just going to pour it over the green beans, and then I'll probably do another round. All of the bigger grocery stores here had soy seitan Christmas roasts. Good for choice and cheaper than the animal options, which is a step forward, I guess. I agree with that. I also feel this kind of pressure to like get the vegan option just because a store has it. Like I'm like, well, I don't want you to stop carrying it, but I don't necessarily want it, which I don't know. It's a tough to navigate. Paul said, are you making enough for all of us? Yeah. When's everyone getting here? Truly believe that Gordon Ramsay is trolling us with his eggplant steak and beet Wellington. Yeah. Him. There's a big vegan channel who does the beet Wellington. It's like Gaz Oakley or something is the guy's name. But yeah, I mean, I'd be curious to try Gordon's Wellington. Wasn't very impressed with Gordon's with the food selection of his restaurant I went to in London. I appreciate that they had vegan options, but that was, my least favorite meal that I had there. Tate, hungry. Be there soon. Yeah, hop on the next flight from Australia. See you in a few days. Paul said we're hungry. Yeah, Gaz is pretty creative. Okay, what am I doing now? Tomatoes. Lost one. So yeah, these are grape tomatoes, I guess, and I like cutting them, slicing them in quarters. So I'll do half and then half again. And then that's the perfect little size. I'll move a lot of stuff on the counter here. Manna is my favorite vegan restaurant in London. It's in Primrose Hill. I didn't go there. I'm wondering if I even heard of it. I'd have to look it up and see the menu to see if I'm not sure if that place was on my radar. There were so many places I wanted to go and didn't get to go. So they'll just have to wait until next time. Gaz is pretty creative. Ivor said you're based in New York. I don't know if that's to me. I'm based in Connecticut. Close to New York. But not quite. She's out there having a train journey from New York. Bosch, do a good Wellington. Yeah, I think that's the type of thing that I'd like to watch the video of them doing it, but I don't know if I'd like to actually do it. So what's the latest vegan tea? I don't know, guys. What is the latest vegan tea? Is there anything scandalous happening in the vegan world? Darjeeling with sugar and soy milk. I don't know what that's in reference to, but that sounds delicious. Oh, that's the tea. I get it. One thing, exciting tea. The documentary, the docuseries, I believe, on Netflix about the Stanford twin study that I mentioned in my recent Good Vegan News video. I think that's out today, January 1st. I don't know if that's out in other countries too, or just in the US, but I'm really excited to check that out. We're going to be reinstating our Netflix membership for that. You watched it already? Why did you watch it already? Because you're ahead? How was it? I think that, I thought that study was so exciting and could possibly be very effective at convincing people. So I'm hoping the documentary is well done. It's the same people who did the Game Changers, I believe, which I think was pretty well received. Although, of course, I'm expecting there to be tons of YouTube videos like debunking the Stanford twin study or whatever. Who knows? So I'm just putting all my veggies that are prepared in a bowl, waiting to add them to the salad. Tamara said, just the reporting on the Stanford twin study has caused such a desperate response from the non-vegan community. See, I haven't seen any of that backlash. Are you seeing that on YouTube or Twitter? Get all the tomato juice off my cutting board. And just getting my second round of boiling water over the green beans. that should be good for the green beans. Just the red onion now, which I don't know. Haven't done this the last few times I've made it, but I guess I'll do it today. Where am I here? I wish it had, okay. I wish it had included more twins, the show rather than the study. And a lot of it is similar to other things I've watched. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, there was that video that I talked about in the Good Vegan News video where they interviewed like 3 sets of the twins. And it was a really fun video. So I thought including the people would be good, but that's disappointing that they don't have that much of them. A lot of it. Tara said, yes, social media, getting ahead of the bad news for their side, perhaps, definitely. My defense replying to the verbal question asked aloud as to what the current scandals are now in veganism. That's the answer. I'm not sure what that's referring to. I've started watching it. It's so hard to watch certain parts, like how cringe some of the participants were about getting chosen to be the vegan when they were hoping they wouldn't be. Yeah, I can definitely see that. What's the name of the movie? I don't see it. Does anyone know what it is? I forget what it's called. Maybe to contrast to how they feel at the end. Fear of the unknown has reached epic proportions. I agree, Tamara. Not having an ethical stance against plant-based diet should have made them excited to try something new. Poisoned on Netflix wasn't considered a vegan movie, right? Hope not. No, but I heard that it certainly doesn't make animal agriculture look good. But I didn't watch it because I don't know. I thought it would be too upsetting. I'm mandolining my red onion now. Because now that I've got the mandolin out, I don't want to use the knife. Yeah, so about the people being cringe, about being picked to be the non-vegans. So there was in this short video that I referred to in my video about it, there were these 2 women twins, and one of them said, I didn't think I was going to be able to do it. So she was really supportive to me. I called her and asked, like, how am I going to do this? I have to have meat every day, every meal or something. And so I thought that meant that she was the vegan and she was saying, like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to survive without my meat? But then it turned out that she was the non-vegan. And what she was saying was like, I don't want to, because I guess the non-vegans had to eat animal products at every single meal. And she didn't want to do that. So I thought that was interesting. And then with those 2 twins, the other one who was assigned the vegan diet said she stayed vegan for 7 months and she's now a vegetarian. So she didn't stay vegan, but she did go to vegetarian, which I thought was cool. You are what you eat, a twin experiment. Thank you, generally. And animal liberationist. Yeah, maybe we'll watch that tonight. So I feel like I'm ready to put everything together. I also want to chop the peanuts. Just kind of throwing everything in my big bowl of veggies. How are the green beans? Let's see. These are so much thicker than the Thai long beans. But I think they're pretty good. Nice al dente texture. I'm going to chop my peanuts. So I just put these on top. I love peanuts as a topping. I think it makes everything better, like any kind of Asian dish. I love putting peanuts on top. I'm just going to chop them up a little bit. I've also got these to put on the top too. Toasted sesame seeds. Just as if there's not already enough crunch in this salad. Between the crunchy rice, the tofu, the al dente green beans. What else? The peanuts. Add a little more crunch. Why not? Mm-hmm. Paul doesn't really like peanuts though, so I don't think he'll be adding these on top. There's a good podcast from Rich Roll with the director producer of the series. That's cool. I've never seen those peanuts at Whole Foods. I will look for them. Yeah, I had never gotten them before, I don't think. I usually get the ones that come in a can, like maybe the Planters. Chris, I'm back. Welcome back. We're finishing up the salad. We're still going. Just chopping my peanuts, which is the last step. Plus, ooh. Come here. All right. Very much against her wishes, she got snatched. This is Minu, guys. This is one of our cats. Finally got a cat in the stream. I love how she just has no idea what's going on. Such a healthy environment. Chris is like, you're still making the salad. Exactly. Mimi, what do you think, Minu? What do you think? Take a look around. All right, she wants to go down. I'm going to wash my hands, guys. Don't worry. Cue the, this is why I never eat at people's houses who have cats. People love to say that. People have said that in my videos before. Such a healthy, vibrant salad after a season of more rich food. Exactly. That's why I love it, because it's just so, like, the flavors are just so, like, bright and just, I don't know, so many fresh, healthy ingredients in addition to fried rice. Ermagerd. Hello, Minu. This is who / what we worship, Paul said. Exactly. Pretty kitty. I'm a dog person, but she does appear to, but she does not appear to enjoy that. You're right. She actually loves being picked up. Like some cats don't like. She likes it, but she just was not in the mood. She was probably wanting to go down into the basement, and I intervened. Okay, I think I'm ready to start putting this thing together. Tamara, do you have a dog? Or are you just a dog lover? Still crispy. That's good. So I do the rice first. A little crispy rice ASMR. I don't think I'm going to do all of it. I actually still have some of the cooked rice left over too. And last time I made, the next day I made little like crispy rice snacks kind of, because I don't know if you guys have ever had those Dang chips. Company Dang, the Thai sticky rice chips. Sticky rice, is that what they're called? Sticky rice crisps. They're so good. And I wanted to try to recreate them. And I sort of did last time. My green beans are a little wet still, so I don't want to put them right on top of the rice. I'm trying to dry them out a little bit. Paul said, love those Dang chips. Yeah, I haven't seen the flavor that I like, which is the sriracha one. I haven't seen that in a while in Whole Foods. They have like the sweet flavor and just the plain flavor, I think, which is very disappointing. Tara said, I do not have a dog anymore. I was thinking of getting a cat, but can't keep houseplants alive in this apartment. So I don't want to chance it with a sentient being. That is definitely respectable. We got our cats sort of like my Minu, who you guys just saw. We were living with my mom at the time, and she ended up adopting Minu, and then she was traveling a lot that year, and so we ended up very much bonding with Minu. And then she became our cat, and you know, because we grew so attached to her. So basically we weren't like, wasn't necessarily our choice to get a cat, but as they call it on TikTok, the cat distribution system was working, I guess, on us. All right, so putting in some green beans. Actually, I think I'll do the tofu next. Let's see here. Oops. Uh-oh. Some green beans on the floor. Tofu came out pretty crunchy. Is anyone eating anything interesting today? Making anything delicious today? This is my big cooking of the day. And then we'll probably just do leftovers for the rest of the day. So just putting in my tofu. All right, pick up those floor green beans. Put them in the compost. Doing my other veggies now. So I'll do the carrot ribbons. Not cooking today, but this is fun to watch. Good. I'm so glad. This is this was scheduled to be my first time going live, but then I did the test run. This is technically the second, but this was like the first big one that I was kind of like planning and promoting. It's almost 22 o'clock here, so 10 o'clock. It's almost 10 o'clock here, so I'm done eating for today. Fair enough. All right, put my tomatoes next. Sprinkle them in. And do my red onion. So now I'm going to do the dressing. Like I said, there's never enough dressing. But I think I always put too much too. Now you're seeing you had to stop by real quick to say hello. Hello, Yoga of Hell. Thank you for stopping by. Let me go back. Gaming More. I generally have no idea what she's cooking. I'm waiting for Paul to show up with Liz of top 10 vegan video games. Hey, you should do that. Paul should start a vegan gaming channel. I mean, we've talked about that before. You're doing a great job. Thank you, Chris. Yoga of Health. Thanks for stopping by. Generally, would like to see more of the food process. Move camera back a bit. So the problem is the my computer is against the window. Basically, it's as far back on the counter as it'll go. But I have layered everything in. So you've got the crispy rice and green beans, tofu, everything else. nice big pile of deliciousness. Zach, I'm going to go for a walk. Congrats on your first live stream. Thank you so much, Zach. Thank you for being here. Enjoy your walk. Maybe for first time altering camera, a bit too complicated. Yeah, so right now I'm just using my computer camera. But in the future, maybe I'll look into like getting a webcam or something that I can move around more. But yeah, I wanted to kind of keep it simple for the first time. And yeah, so I'm going to be topping with the dressing now. Oh my God, this looks so good. It smells amazing. Just that like the mixture of the lemongrass, the lime, the ginger, the sweet flavors, the salty flavors. I could probably eat this meal. Like this could be my only meal, I think. If I could switch back and forth between this and nachos every day, I would be very happy. So we're almost using all the dressing up. But what tends to happen is I put too much and then it all pools on the bottom. And then it's kind of like cereal and milk. You get to the bottom and there's so much dressing. But yeah, this is how it's looking with the dressing on it. Looks absolutely delicious. And then just going to add the peanuts. Plenty of peanuts. And my sesame seeds. I don't always do this. I'll do these when I have them on hand because I just think sesame seeds are so healthy. Add a little extra crunch, a little extra flavor, toasted sesame flavor. I used toasted sesame oil for the tofu when I did the tofu. So it's got a little bit. Should I try it? Let me see if Paul wants to come for the taste test. He might not. The nachos and crispy rice salad died a New York Times bestseller. Exactly. Watch out, Issa Chandra, with your live to lean or whatever. We're doing crispy rice salad and nachos. Buffalo this, buffalo that. Definitely going to try this one. Looks so good. I can imagine how refreshing it would be too. Super hot and gross in Australia right now. Yes, this is such a summer type of recipe, I feel like. Really refreshing in the summer. Hopefully you can find all the ingredients there. But yeah, the recipe is in my community tab. If you guys haven't seen it, that's where the full recipe is. Let me try it. Get a good bite. Try to get a little bit of everything on it. I think that's pretty decent. Let me get a little more rice. So chewy. So crunchy. It's really good. It came out really well. I made this on Thanksgiving. Generally crunchy. And rice is so crunchy. It's so good. It took me a while to figure out how to make the rice so crunchy the way I laid out in the recipe that I posted is the best way that I've found, but you can bake it. You can like saute it or stir fry it for a really long time until all the moisture gets out. But that just takes a long time. But yeah, that's definitely the most time consuming part. Well, this part took a pretty long time too. By the way, we made a trip to New Orleans and Las Vegas in September. The vegan cuisine was unforgivably terrible. Big problem with all US cities, frankly, reality versus vegan internet hype. I have heard bad things about New Orleans in terms of being a vegan-friendly city. I mean, it's like French-inspired cuisine mostly, so that doesn't really surprise me, but I have heard that from other people, which is too bad because I feel like veganized versions of their things could be really good, but I always forget you guys are on opposite seasons. I do too. This would be wonderful in super hot and gross weather. Yep. Good question generally. What type of rice is best? So I have heard sushi rice is best. I'll show you guys what I use. When I was looking up how to do crispy rice, I had heard sushi rice was the best. So this is what I use. Like I said, I make it the day before and let it sit in the fridge overnight. But the original place that I had this from, Bulan Thai, used brown rice. So for some reason, I feel like white rice would crisp up better, but I think I've only done it with sushi rice. Is producer Paul going to make a cameo? Not sure. He's keeping us all on his toes. Cinnamon, New Orleans is one of my favorite cities. Love live music and culture. Yeah. The culture of New Orleans seems really fun. From what I've seen. I've never been, but it seems like a really fun place. So it would be nice if vegans could enjoy it too, but I can't speak to that personally. I can't talk Nami, exactly. Paul, the crowd is cheering your name, chanting your name. Arborio. Are you saying arborio might work? Arborio might work. I honestly think most types of white rice would work. Sushi rice is just so fat, so maybe it holds up better with the frying. I'm really not sure. Taknaming. Paul used to be a little bit bigger part of my channel, so I feel like earlier subscribers are more familiar with Paul. I guess maybe when I did more like vlogs and cooking videos. Nashville is another fun city. I have been to Nashville a few times. I hope it's still there, but I used to love going to, was it the Wild Cow in Nashville? The Wild Cow? Something about a cow. They, that place was amazing. And they had this dish there called buffalo beans and greens. Pretty much what it sounds like, but it was beans, greens, and tempeh or tofu served over rice with this delicious buffalo sauce on it. And I think ranch. So good. We have recreated that. That's one of our like go-to meals. I had some amazing vegan food at this spot in Asheville, North Carolina. I don't think I've ever been there, but I have heard good things about Asheville in general. I think the starch in white rice makes it crisp better. That's what I think too. That's why I'm so impressed that, kind of confused at how Bulan uses brown rice. And yeah, impressed that they can make it so crispy. This is really good, guys. I wish I could share it with you. But the next best thing, I guess, is sharing the recipe. Arborio is risotto rice and can be used for sushi. Yeah, whenever I see arborio rice, I always think it looks a lot like sushi rice. Cuisine, generally the cities that have really high levels of cuisine have excellent vegan food. Even if a tiny percentage of the population is vegan, Paris and Beijing, telling examples, I think that's true. Not a single American city competes with Paris or Beijing for vegan cuisine. I haven't been to Paris in a very long time. Certainly not since being vegan, but yeah, I guess like Los Angeles, I would say, or New York, obviously, would be the closest, but maybe San Francisco. I haven't been to San Francisco in a while, though. If you're ever in Amsterdam, might like Bon Boon. Seems like Amsterdam has a pretty decent vegan scene just from some videos I've seen. Boulder, Colorado, Seattle, Washington, Portland, Oregon. One day I'll make it to Portland. I've never been there. I have been to Seattle. I don't think I was vegan then, but yeah, I would love to hit up Portland for sure. I was in Denver a few years ago. It was okay. Actually, well, Denver had two of my favorite restaurants, City O City and Watercourse Foods. Same owners. One is fully vegan, I think, and one is vegetarian but has a lot of vegan options. I sort of wish I lived in Denver just for those two restaurants. It generally says in the last 7 years, the vegan scene has grown a lot in Amsterdam. I've heard that about Paris too. Lots of hippies and wicked smart, I think it says. There's an icon right over the chat, so I can't see sometimes what people are saying. Did a cat just walk by? Should I imagine that? Yes, one did. Lots of hippies. I have been to Watercourse and something it. I can't see until someone else writes something. Hopefully loved it. I had the best salad I've ever had there. I actually have a video on my channel where I recreated it. Dug it. Okay, yeah. City O City had an amazing breakfast burrito there. Watercourse had this incredible salad that I recreated. I think the video is called like the best vegan salad I've ever had. Amsterdam has a lot of vegan junk food options, though fewer fine dining options. That's kind of how it is in Connecticut too. I think that's because it's easier to open a vegan junk food place. Like it's a lower cost of entry, lower commitment, and especially when it's just like a grab and go, not like a full service place. Amsterdam is my favorite Australian city for vegan food is Cairns. It's a tiny city of like 150,000 people, but it's in the rainforest. So it has access to a lot of fresh produce, which gives it the edge. Wow, that sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. That sounds nothing like the US. I can't think of somewhere like that in the US. Austin, Texas is happening too. I really want to go to Austin. I've never been. One of my cousins lives there. Maybe I'll take a couple more bites. I don't think Paul's going to end up joining. He is busy, but he's here in spirit, just upstairs. Boo, Paul. I was thinking, I don't know if there's any other, other than cinnamon, other New Englanders, vegan New Englanders in the chat, but maybe we could do a meetup or something at Vegetoberfest, or not Vegetoberfest, Rhode Island Veg Fest that's coming up. Cinnamon, let me know if you're going to that. Seattle, fate worse than death. I'd rather live in Detroit. This is a vegan living in the Pacific Northwest. Cairns Dam. Sorry, I'm from Woombi. And find anything north of Bris Vegas to be a vegan wasteland. I can only pretend to understand what that means. People assume that, but Cairns is really a refuge. It sounds really interesting. Oh, we have thought about it. Is VegFest sold out? I don't think so. Last I saw, they were sold out of the VIP tickets, which I'm not sure what that means. I think it gets you early entry, which would be nice because, you know, it gets really crowded, but I don't think they're sold out. Yeah, speaking Aussie. Came out really well, guys. Especially considering the fact that I was sort of distracted while making. Does anyone else have any final thoughts or questions? I so appreciate you guys being here on New Year's Day, especially. It was nice ringing in the new year with all of you. I hope that if you try this recipe, you really like it. Thanks for being here and sharing the cool recipe. You're so welcome, Tate. Thank you for joining as well. I love how Reddit brought us together. Race lever. It's way too soon for my final thoughts. Way too much to live for. Fair enough. Fair enough. I once ordered a hot drink in Rockhampton with soy milk, and it came with whipped dairy on top. I did not consume. Oh, that sucks. Hard to tell, too, because, I don't know, with like a whipped thing, you never know. It's so hard with any beverage with milk. You're like, this could be oat milk, but I'm a little suspicious. It really confused me for a bit. Ew, no. I can tell Paul is very much wanting to try this, probably. All right, guys. Well, thank you again so much for joining and staying around for the whole thing. I knew this was going to be long because when I did the test on Friday, I was imagining it being like 30 minutes. Ended up going to around 50. But it's just so much fun getting to chat with all of you and connect in this way. And I'm so happy I have entered the world of live streaming and have tested it out. And yeah, I really wasn't sure what to expect with either of these ones, and they both were really fun. And it's just nice getting to know you guys a little bit better too, because I'll see, you know, people's names pop up in comments, but this is a more interactive format. Thanks for streaming. You're so welcome, generally. I'm so glad you joined. Nydia, thanks for the fun and the recipe. Looks delicious. I'm so glad that you think so. And like I said, in the future, maybe I'll play around with like microphones and, you know, maybe a webcam, but enjoy this live stream. Thanks for this, Marielle, and have a happy new year. Happy New Year to you too, Tamara. Off to eat New Year's leftovers for dinner. That sounds delicious. Adrian said, thanks to you, Paul, and the cats for entertaining us, everyone for being here. Yes. You know, cats were a little disappointing, but at least we got one today. Chris G, thanks for the fun stream. Thank you so much, Chris. Thank you for being here. Carrie said, awesome, great stream. Thank you so much, Carrie, for being here. Thanks for the multiple of you that were here from Australia. It's so funny. The other day I was thinking when I kept being like, can't believe you're here all the way from Australia, like as if you came from Australia, but it kind of feels that way. I don't know, because you're so far away and because of the time difference. Super early in the morning there, I'm assuming. But thank you guys all so much. Like I said, check out the recipe in the community post. And I'm going to be making this video live. So it'll be going live pretty soon. Like I think pretty much right when I end it. And yeah, thank you guys for being a part of it. Happy New Year. And started at 5:30 a.m. Wow, that's dedication. Appreciate you guys showing up bright and early in the morning. I'm surprised Carrie was working so early. But I love it. And yeah, I will see you guys again soon for whatever my next video is. And Happy New Year to everyone. Hope you have a great new year. And I'll see you all soon. Impressive, Tate. All right. Bye, everyone.